afternoon. So I look after the Rugby Centurions. I guess, firstly, a little bit about me. So I grew up in the Northwest, so up near Liverpool. I spent 15 years in the military looking after leadership development and people development, traveling all over the UK and the world, and playing representative sport for the military armed forces globally, which was an incredible experience. I also spent a couple of years down at Headley Court, which is our National Rehabilitation Centre for the Wounded, Injured and Sick, which again, just seeing some of the, I guess, the challenges soldiers face coming back from war, both mentally and physically, and how they rehabilitated themselves to get onto the next phase of their journey was absolutely fascinating. And then spent a couple of years in America. So I worked on the Invictus Games with the White House and the Royal Household and Disney and the Bush Institute, again, which was another phenomenal experience. And then more recently, over the last sort of 18 months, been really excited to work with the Rugby Centurions. So for those of you that haven't heard about the Rugby Centurions, we celebrate those men and women who've won 100 international test caps or more for their country. So unless Zoe corrects me, there's 77 of them in the world across 13 different nations, the 8,000 combined caps, 23 World Cup winners. So the thing that was really important to them was this parents, whoever is in that there. And to be honest with you, what we found is each and every school that we've worked with so far approaches it in a slightly different way. So for those kids that feel engaged and they can get on and do the work themselves, then they can watch the videos and do the work online, and it's split into 6 modules. And each of those modules are broken down into bite-sized chunks. So we might talk about high impact leadership, and we break that down into six areas, of which take 6 or 7 minutes each. So it's really micro bite-sized learning. So the student can do that themselves, and the teacher or support adult could check in with them at the end of that first module and find out, how did you get on? What did you learn? How did you get on with the exercises that have been set? Or the other way that we found works really well as well, depending on the needs of the child, is the support adult being able to work through some of that material with them. So they may watch the video with them, which take 5 or 6 minutes, and then have a conversation around what does that mean to them and how do they want to develop going forwards. So we found actually, that our modules is about little tools and tactics and secrets that all of these players have utilized over their years to be able to perform at their best and to be able to be good leaders, good communicators. How do you make a good decision? How do you become more resilient? What are the tips and tricks that we can pass on to enable you to deal with those challenging circumstances? Because I think, if I'd have spoke to you 2 years ago, you'd have said, hey, Chris, look, we've definitely got some, some challenges, as everybody does. And over the last 2 years, it's only sort of 18 months heightened through our experience of COVID. And it really goes to show that, the want to have as many of you on the program that fits, and it's about finding the right fit. It's not going to fit everybody. We understand that, because everybody's on their own learning journey and requires different things. Check in with you along the way, or you could do that to be able to have that support adult or support teacher helping them on their journey. On top of that, you can send it out, and we have a number of fascinating statistics. Last year we had norms and how they've dealt with those types of challenges. So we really sort of supplement that online digital learning with some live webinars where we do cameras off for most people, but if you want to ask questions, there's a question box, and that makes it a little bit more interactive, but just making sure that actually from a welfare perspective and a security perspective, everybody's taken care of in that sense. And then at the end of the year, so it will get around to about June, July next year, we have our leadership awards. So we have 5 leadership awards, which are based around our values. So we have selfless commitment, resilience, respect, courage, and leadership. I just about remember each one of those, especially as you're recording me, Stacey, which is always a challenge. A teacher, a teacher or an adult can actually put one of their students through for that award. So if somebody's shown courage in a particular instance that actually really heightens what they've been about and achieve something special, then actually that's something we would absolutely recognize. And we run those awards sort of June, July the following year. So the one thing people ask is, how long suits you best as you go forward? The webinars will always be.
To any colleagues, before I jump in with a couple of my questions, do you have any questions yourselves?
Hi, Stacey. It's
Hi,
Tuffy.
Tuffy.
Hi. I wanted to find out how interactive the program is. I'd like one of my young people to join in, but I'm worried that, you know, if it's all web-based, he's gonna struggle with the whole 6 sessions. I was hoping for something a little bit more interactive. Are the sessions interactive? I haven't seen any of the sessions, so I'm kind of asking.
Yeah, no, it's a really good
I
question.
apply.
I'm glad you asked that. That's a good one.
Yeah, so on the modules themselves, there's obviously, let's say an example, 4 or 5 e-learning videos. And then there's exercises which the student then can download and complete, which may be, so for example, it will be getting them to think about, you know, what their strengths are, what their areas for development are, what their challenges, might be something around goal setting. So what goals do they want to achieve in the next 30 days? So some practical exercises that they can absolutely do with that sort of support teacher or bubble along that route.
But there is an interaction in terms of it's not a live. There are the live webinars.
The webinars are absolutely live, 100%. But what we tend to do on the webinars at the moment, or certainly have done for the last year, is deliver them as webinars. So there's no, similar to this, there's no face-to-face interaction with all the students, just to, I guess, protect them, because we're doing it from a number of different schools and colleges. But they can actually ask those questions in the question box. So if they've got a question about something, but they've been quite well received in terms of the stories and the presenters that we've had on, because they're quite fascinating.
So I think, Taffy, in relation to what you're asking, then it's not interactive in that sense. It can be in the sense of, if the young person's got a very strong key worker, supportable carer, designated teacher, whatever, then they could do it in partnership, and there's some structure for some really good discussions and reflective work, but the sessions themselves are not interactive. And they're also kind of self-led, aren't they? So you can just pop your earphones in, listen to that podcast as you're walking the dog, or you could have a set time and you're sat at your desk in your bedroom, or whatever it is. Am I right in that, Chris?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's entirely up to, I guess, the student, school, carer, what's going to work best in that scenario. And like I said, we've had some of the schools that the students actually haven't logged on at all, and the teacher's taken 2 or 3 of them through it. They've watched the video together, they then spoke about it, done one of the exercises, and then moved forward. So yeah, it's entirely up to you to decide what suits you best, and suits, most importantly, the student best.
And on that note, Chris, just because of the nature of our young people, it's not always conducive to have a timetable or a schedule or whatever. But is there, it seems with this that there is going to be a start and a finish, kind of roughly, as in it starts in September and it runs through to the following June, July. Is that right? There's no kind of roll on, roll off. You know, somebody could start in January, for example.
No, you can start at any time you want.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We just run the webinars. So we start the program in September because it's typically the start of the academic year. And it fits us perfectly. Fantastic. You know, some people have said, look, we can't do it in September today.
That's great. That's really, really helpful. Information that we need now. So just ask, and again, this applies if you're watching by us, that might be me. You've had a number of emails from me, but it's stacey.mccabe@surreycity.gov.uk, or vitual.school@surreycc.gov.uk. If you can email us and include the name of your young person, then we can basically set the wheels in motion to get this up and running. We'll also send out a copy of this webinar. It's been about 20 minutes, I think, in total. So quite a nice little snippet where you could maybe sit with your young person now, knowing a bit more, and show them this. If they've got any questions, thanks, Steve, for putting those emails in the chat. If they've got any questions, they can also just, you can email us with those questions. It doesn't have to be a definite yes at this stage. We're open to questions. We'll get the answers one way or another, and hopefully we will get this kick-started in September. Really, I think it's really exciting, definitely. Oh.
Thank you so much. Obviously, if there's any questions, then please feel free just to myself or Zoe will do our absolute best to answer them. And whether there's 10 or 1,000 of you on the program, we're really excited to have you on board. Looking forward to working with you over the next 12 months, and hopefully we'll see some of the students progress during that period as well, and hopefully we'll support them.
Absolutely. And we're really grateful to the foundation for gifting the program as well, and we must say that, because that's going to make a huge difference.
That's our pleasure.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great
Enjoy
day.
the rest of your evening. Bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.